Hi, this is Tish, and it is November 24th, 2023. If you could please like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It is the day after Thanksgiving in the United States, and I'm very thankful for all of you. It's been a very turbulent year. Saturn in Pisces has not been easy. I find it's very difficult. Although Pisces is very compatible with my own sign, I think it's really hard for all of us to anchor reality with this, to anchor dreams that we're all trying to believe in some way. And so it's been tough. And, Saturn stationed direct on November 4th at the very first degree of Pisces. And it's still at 0 degrees of Pisces, which enables us all to do a redo, in a sense, of the Saturn and Pisces story thus far, but it has not been easy. And I'm actually happy about the fact that Mars left the sign of Scorpio early this morning at 5:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It rules Scorpio in ancient astrology, and it's very fearless and effective. However, I think because it's been traveling so closely with the sun and made very difficult aspects in the last 6 weeks or so, it's been very tough, or whatever it is. Yeah, about 6 weeks. So it left the sign of Scorpio. Mars is still traveling closely behind the sun. We are now in Sagittarius season. The sun entered Sag on November 22nd, and it'll transit there through the winter solstice on December 21st. The sun in Sagittarius is hopeful. It's optimistic. I think that is why in the United States we have Thanksgiving during this time. It's a time for gratitude and to be thankful and to be generous too. Sagittarius is a very generous sign, but we still have the Sun Mars energy through approximately December 4th, and they'll start to separate. They're now in a fire sign, so there's still a fiery energy, exuberant fire. A lot of people think Scorpio is a fire sign because Mars in Scorpio is intense. It's heavy. And we've seen a lot of fires and accidents, a lot of Mars type energy, unfortunately, of recent. And this weekend, just being conscious because it is a holiday weekend, at least in the United States, is that, and anywhere you are, you're going to feel this energy, obviously. I'm not trying to be America centric by any means, but Mars squares Saturn tomorrow, and I forgot what time, but it really doesn't matter. And so it squares Saturn, and we feel the buildup of Mars whenever it hits, whatever the aspect. That's an aspect of feeling at an impasse. You could feel frustrated. There could be issues with motors or with cars or delays in travel. People could feel angry. It could be inverted anger with that energy. But a lot of people that have that natally are very ambitious, and it may take them a time to do things, but they still get things done. It still kind of helps to, when they feel that energy, it might ebb and flow, but it's not an easy one. It's incredibly frustrating. So just being aware of that. And the moon is in Taurus for the majority of the weekend, which it's exalted in Taurus. It's a very nice placement. But we are building up to a full moon in Gemini, which peaks on November 27th, the Monday of next week, on the 27th, at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the full moon is going to be at 4 degrees and 51 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. That is the sign of news, information, and communication. Full moons bring things to light, particularly in a very communicative sign like Gemini. I know somebody with moon in Gemini, and boy, can she talk. And so it's a sign that really likes to communicate. And with that said, we've got the Mars-Saturn square this weekend where people could feel frustrated, held back. In the full moon chart, I set it for Washington, D.C. It has Scorpio ascendant. Therefore, Mars and Pluto are the rulers of the chart. It's at the very first degree of Scorpio, 0 degrees of Scorpio. The Sun and Mars are within 2 degrees of one another, so we still have very fiery Mars energy. Saturn is at the bottom of the chart in the house of home, family, and emotional security. And obviously, a lot of people do not feel that right now. Stability is not something with Saturn and Pisces that comes easily. And Saturn is still squaring the Mars at the time of the full moon. The full moon itself is falls in the 8th house, which is the Scorpio house. Wounds and loss and intimacy. Saturn is squaring the moon, Saturn is squaring Mars, and Saturn is squaring the sun. So there's a held back energy. There's a restrictive energy. And, again, a lot of information getting brought to light. This officially ends eclipse season, although if you got impacted directly by the past 2 eclipses, you're still feeling it. It can sometimes loom for 3 to 6 months, but this technically ends it because it's the first lunation after the eclipses. And Mercury proceeds to square Neptune later that day. And they both square one another at 24 degrees of Sagittarius and Pisces. So that also, a lot of information getting uncovered, lies and deception getting brought to light, a lot of emotional energy. The moon in Gemini is not particularly an emotional sign. It's actually fairly logical, but it's a full moon. It's squaring Saturn. It's opposite Mars. There's tension with this moon. And Mercury squaring Neptune. Excellent energy for manifesting. Journaling in Gemini, the full moon in Gemini, journal your hopes, your dreams, and your fears and your limitations. Mars squaring Saturn over the weekend is a good opportunity to take some kind of action to address your fears. This is a time, and I wrote this the other day. This is now my credo for Saturn and Pisces: suspension of disbelief. Okay. And so thank you, Miss Phelps. Okay. Suspension of disbelief. We've got to try to go there in some capacity as much as we can. So with that, I can't say it's going to be easy. We have to be present. We have to be in the moment. And Sagittarius season, we have to be thankful and have gratitude. That will get us through. I just had a great writing prompt from my writing teacher about glimmers, little glimmers of hope. Well, Pisces is very much about dreams and imagination. Mercury squaring Neptune on the day of the full moon. Maybe things get brought out that you don't like. Maybe your fears get amplified. Journal your dreams. Tap into hope. It is Sagittarius season. And we can find glimmers in many ways. It's very psychic and intuitive energy. You may have very strong dreams the next couple of days. Good luck. Hang in there, and I wish you luck.